Hello everyone, my name is BlackWatch and welcome to another episode of How to Play. In this week's episode we're going to be taking a look at Yumiko Imagawa, also known as Hibana. She's the operator who's always been the strongest hard breacher ever since she was introduced in Season 4 of Year 1, and that was the Red Crow season. And she's a good fun operator. She's one that is, I think, a little bit overrated, but she's definitely got her place. And unfortunately slightly better than Thermite. Let's find out why. So Hibana's a 1-armor 3-speed operator on the attacking side, and she's a member of the SAT CTU alongside Echo on the defending side, who's receiving a couple of buffs in the new season. And that's going to be Operation Parabellum, very much looking forward to that one. She has access to 2 primary weapons, the Type 89 assault rifle, which it's definitely one of the stronger assault rifles in the game. Its only downside is its lack of ammunition. It's only got a 20-round magazine, which isn't great. But conversely, it's got a very high rate of fire and pretty decent damage for that high rate of fire, and the recoil's not too bad either, so definitely worth taking over the Supernova shotgun, which is a pump action shotgun that has a very slow pump time, and the reload time is also quite long. So unfortunately it's kind of it's alright. It deals a lot more damage than it used to. It received a buff a wee while back, but it's still not quite good enough to consider taking above the Type 89. In terms of secondary, she's got the P229, which is definitely a very good pistol. There's no doubt about that, but the trouble is that she also has the Bearing 9 SMG, which is one of the few fully automatic sidearms in the game, and it's a very good gun. 26 rounds with the one in the chamber, and it's just decent damage for a sidearm. Does the job very well. You've actually got more ammunition in it than you do for your primary weapon, which just goes to show how much better it is in the old cap department. But in terms of everything else, it's just a very solid close range weapon, definitely worth bringing over the pistol. She's got stun grenades and breaching charges as her secondary gadgets. Breaching charges are a new addition because she used to have claymores, and I think that the breaching charges are actually a bit of a buff to her. I'll tell you about that why later. That didn't make any sense. Anyway, her primary and unique gadget is the X-Kairos launcher, and this is the second and one of only 2 hard breaching gadgets currently in the game as of Operation Chimera. And the other one obviously is Thermite's exothermic breaching charge, or Brimstone. And this thing, the Kairos launcher, launches 6 pellets at a wall in a rectangular shape, and they breach through. So 6 individual pellets that can be destroyed individually are triggered as a cluster, or triggered as multiple clusters, because you can fire up to 3 of these pellet clusters. So that makes her ideal for things like hatches and smaller walls that maybe don't need as much destruction as the exothermic charge would bring from Thermite. So she's got 3 clusters of these pellets. There's 6 pellets individually. The downside of them is that they have a very slow detonation time compared to the Brimstone charge. They also have a very slow cocking time between shots on the launcher, and they're pretty annoying to use as a result if you're going for bigger breaches, because you've got to take that time between each shot to actually get the things going. But what she trades in for her lack of skill in terms of breaking big walls, she has a huge amount of versatility, because she can take out hatches, in fact multiple hatches, in one go. If she needed to in some rooms, for example on the basement and consulate and archives, she could detonate all 3 hatches above that objective in a single blow by putting the charges on them and then separately detonating them. And it's a pretty impressive thing when it's pulled off and when it works, because it's a lot of different places that the enemy has to think about. Now with these pellets you can make vaultable holes, crawlable holes and runnable holes. So vaultable holes are 2 clusters of pellets used together to make a hole that's big enough to vault through or to crouch walk through. A crawlable hole is one that's used by a single pellet and it'll be on the floor where someone can prone through it. And then runnable holes are when all 3 clusters are used on a single location and it's big enough for them to be able to run through those while standing up. Kira's just decided to play a video in the background, so she's getting executed tonight. In terms of her general strengths, she's a 3-speed. That straight away is a big deal for any operator. 3-speed is the meta, as much as it shouldn't be, really. It is the meta right now, because being able to get around the map fast and quietly is a hell of a big boon compared to being slow and trudging. She has very versatile breaches. She can breach using her breaching charges and her Kairos pellets and various other things. If she's stuck behind a castle barricade, unlike Thermite, she's not going to be in difficult Duke Street by having to walk up and stick her toes through the barricade to get it open. She can launch it from a distance and use it almost like a de facto breaching round. She's got near best-in-class weapons as an overall kit. They're very, very strong. The sidearm SMG compiled together with that strong assault rifle make for a very, very powerful weapon suite for Hibana. In terms of her weaknesses, very good bandit players, or well, even really decent bandit players, are pretty scary for Hibana because she has to deal with those essentially negating her charges. Unless you have a very, very skilled Thatcher on team, you're going to end up in a position where Hibana's charge is going to get destroyed very, very quickly, because not only do you have to put two or three of them down separately to actually get it off, it's then got a very long detonation time, and it's actually long enough for the bandit player to have at least a second to react to the charges going off and still manage to detonate them with his cluster, or still manage to destroy them with his shock wires through the wall. So definitely a risky business if there's a good bandit on the enemy team. Also, unfortunately, our breaches aren't as big as Thermite, but ultimately Thermite still needed something to make him unique and slightly stronger in some regard. So if you want to take out big walls, or multiple big walls, I say multiple, 2 big walls, then you're going to be looking for Thermite. So something like targeting the garage on Consulate, you want to have Thermite there, take out those big walls. Targeting the snowmobile garage on the chalet, same thing, you want to have big breaches, so you slap one in the garage door, one in the wine cellar, you're taking out big holes, easy peasy. Whereas really, when you think about it, Hibana has the opportunity to make one wall fully breachable with a vault hole, and another wall either sort of subpar breachable with a crawlable hole, or only really viewable with a single hole. So again, she trades off her versatility in terms of big walls to make it up for her ability to take out hatches and essentially make single breaching points slightly more advantageous with an extended point of view that also incorporates a little bit more cover for the attacker. In terms of tips that I can give you with Hibana, you want to focus on hatches as much as possible. If you're on a site like Oregon, where you're playing against the laundry defenders, what you want to do there is you want to use the range you have from the lobby part, the lobby door of Oregon, to actually launch your Kairos from a distance and then take out the hatch. Unlike Thermite, you don't have to put yourself at risk to get value out of your gadget, so just run into those situations, lob the pellets down with your launcher and a distance, take advantage of the fact that you don't have to put your body in the room to do it, and then hey presto, you've got a hatch open and you've not put yourself at risk in doing so. Use 2 to get in and 1 to extend a sightline if you're just going to target a single wall. So that's essentially 2 for a vaulting hole, and then 1 to give yourself an extra viewpoint inside the objective through whatever point in the wall you decided to breach. That's one of the tips I would use. And again, you just want to take advantage of Hibana's gadget range as much as possible. It's a ranged gadget for a reason. It's because she opens herself up to being safe where otherwise you wouldn't be if you'd brought a Thermite with you. Obviously, trade off with the different things and the ways that the gadget works in terms of having to use smaller holes and having to place individual clusters together. It makes it a little bit more difficult to use, a little bit trickier, but similarly you avoid that conflict situation. One of the things I really like to use Hibana for now is something that I actually used Thermite for back in the day, and that was simultaneous breaches from a solo operator. So I mentioned before being able to take out multiple hatches in one go, being able to take out multiple surfaces in one go using the Kairos launcher, setting up those pellets separately on different surfaces and then detonating them simultaneously. That's great fun, but why not throw a breaching charge into the mix as well? So say you have one clean wall, put a breaching charge on it, move on. You have one reinforced wall, put some pellets on it, move on. And you've got a hatch above objective, put pellets on it, move on. From that point there, you can trigger your pellets, get the countdown going, when they're just about to detonate, blow up the wall with your breaching charge as well. If you're a defender in that scenario, you are bricking it, because you have 3 different places that you have to think, where the hell is this guy going to be coming from? And say there's 2 different hatches maybe, or 3 different hatches even, just to make it horrific for a defender on a site. And you're going to detonate all 3 of those hatches and the wall. That's a frightening thing to deal with. The more sightlines and the more opportunity for failure you can present to the defender, the more likelihood, or the more increased the likelihood is that you're going to win in that scenario. Because if they make the wrong decision, you have a split couple of seconds to take advantage of their misplay and kill them. So you want to drop down, you want to run through, you want to do whatever it is with whatever position you've chosen, where you can run in with that element of surprise, hoping that they've picked the wrong place. It's never going to be an exact science, because ultimately they may have picked right. The usual odds, and basically the sort of top odds, if you don't have any pre-detonated surfaces or any doors that have been opened in advance by other people, it's going to be a 25 split, so 25 to 100. And it's not, 25% chance is not exactly, it's not major odds in your favour, but similarly it's not major odds in the defender's favour. It's that little bit of doubt that does make the difference. Siege is all about mind games and feigning things, and being able to feign a breach effectively. Now, you see lots of people who try to do these feigned breaches and these simultaneous breaches when they're playing alone, and they do okay, but they'll be playing someone like Sledge, where they'll put a breaching charge in one place and then they'll sledge the other. I wonder where he's going to be. Could it be the place with a breaching charge, or could it be the place where the man who has the sledgehammer hit the sledgehammer off the wall? Whereas Hibana doesn't have that, because the gadget can be used from anywhere, and the breaching charge can be used from anywhere. So that doubt, as long as you can play with your sound and your footsteps correctly and mask that as much as you can, they're not going to know where you are, and they may well pick wrong. So take advantage of that, have fun with the mind games, and above all else, guys, enjoy playing as Hibana. You want to use that speed well, run around the map, be fast, get your job done, and then just be a fast fragger like the other 3 speeds, like Ash, like IQ. Take advantage of our good weapons, get those kills, use your speed to your advantage, peek all day long, as long as the job's been done. Make sure you've done your job first before you go out and get all the glory in the kills. Thanks for tuning in again, guys. Do svidania. Also, a quick note, I did this last week, but I just want to get out of the way. Again, I do have a Patreon page now, so if you feel like supporting the channel with your wallet, please consider it if you're into that kind of thing. It's totally up to yourself. I've got a range of rewards there that are fairly simple, but I thought I'd give something away. But yeah, if you decide to do that, that'd be fantastic. It's totally optional, though. If you just enjoy watching my videos and supporting them by slapping your view and your time into them each week, I'm very humbled by it, and I very much appreciate it, and thank you for tuning in again. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Do svidania. Have a great week. Bye-bye.